The Galactic Archive stood as the crown jewel of the hegemony civilization, a crystalline spire stretching beyond the clouds of Zenthara Prime, housing the complete recorded history of every species in the known galaxy. For 3 millennia, it had served as the ultimate repository of truth, its quantum-encrypted databases supposedly incorruptible. Commander Thaxel of the Hegemony Council gazed up at the monument with satisfaction. The final phase of the historical revision protocol had been completed just hours ago. Every record, every data stream, every archaeological finding had been systematically altered. The new narrative was clean, elegant, and most importantly, it positioned humanity exactly where they belonged, as a primitive, war-obsessed species that had contributed nothing of value to galactic civilization. The humans had been gone for 200 years now, vanished into the void after their stunning defeat in the Unity Wars. Good riddance, Thaxel thought. Their absence had allowed the galaxy to prosper under proper hegemony guidance. The revision simply reflected the natural order of things. Sir? His aide, a nervous Kelvani named Zilp, approached with a data pad. The Archive Master's report. Complete integration. All historical records now show humanity as a failed experiment in evolution, violent, short-lived, and technologically stagnant. Thaxel's 4 eyes gleamed with triumph. Excellent. Inform the Council that we may proceed with the commemoration ceremony. Let the galaxy celebrate 3,000 years of uninterrupted hegemony leadership. But as Zilp hurried away, alarms began echoing through the archive complex. Emergency lights bathed the crystalline halls in pulsing red as automated voices announced, "Unknown vessels detected at system perimeter. Defense protocols activated." Thaxel rushed to the command center, his elongated limbs carrying him swiftly through corridors filled with panicking archivists and historians. The massive viewing screen showed something impossible, a fleet of sleek angular vessels that didn't match any known hegemony design yet seemed hauntingly familiar. "Analysis?" he barked at the tactical officer. "Unknown configuration, sir. The hull materials. They're using some form of adaptive armor that our sensors can barely penetrate. But sir," the officer's voice trembled, "the quantum signatures, they match old records of human technology." "Impossible," Thaxel snarled. "Humans were wiped out centuries ago. These must be scavengers using their abandoned tech." The lead vessel, a magnificent dreadnought that dwarfed even the Archive's defensive stations, moved with predatory grace toward the planet. Communication frequencies crackled to life, and a voice spoke in perfect galactic standard, but with that distinct accent that Thaxel remembered from the history he'd just erased. "This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the Human Colonial Fleet. We've been monitoring your recent editorial work on our history. We thought it was time for a fact-checking session." The viewing screen flickered, then displayed an impossible sight. Admiral Chen stood on the bridge of her vessel, her silver hair pulled back severely, her eyes sharp with intelligence and determination. Behind her, human crew members worked at stations bristling with technology that seemed decades beyond anything the hegemony possessed. "You seem surprised to see us, Thaxel," Chen continued, somehow knowing exactly who was listening. "Did you really think we'd just disappear forever? That we'd accept exile without purpose?" Thaxel found his voice. "You were defeated. Your species was scattered to the void." Chen's smile was cold and knowing. "We were exiled, yes. But you made a critical error in your understanding of human nature. You see, when you cast us out into the darkness beyond known space, you assumed we'd simply fade away. Instead, you gave us something far more valuable: time and necessity." The human fleet spread out in perfect formation around the archive world, their ship's weapons charging with energy signatures that made hegemony sensors scream warnings. 200 years, Chen continued conversationally. 200 years, to explore the unknown regions, to discover ancient ruins and forgotten technologies that your comfortable hegemony never bothered to investigate. 200 years to grow, to adapt, to become something you never imagined possible. On the screen, she gestured to someone off camera. We've been particularly interested in the predecessor archives we found in the void reaches. Fascinating. Civilization. They documented everything with quantum-locked temporal encryption. Nearly impossible to forge or alter. Thaxel's blood turned to ice. The predecessors were a myth, a legend whispered about in archaeological circles. If they had truly existed, if their records were real. Oh yes, Chen said, reading his expression perfectly. They were very real. And they were very thorough. They recorded the true rise of every species in this galaxy, including ours. Every innovation, every discovery, every moment of genuine progress. She held up a crystalline device that seemed to pulse with inner light. This contains the real history, Thaxel. The one where humans developed faster than light communication by solving the quantum entanglement paradox. Where human medical science saved entire species from extinction. Where human explorers opened the first stable wormholes. And human diplomats prevented 3 galactic wars through pure negotiation skill. The device's glow intensified. The history where humanity didn't just contribute to galactic civilization, we helped build it. Defensive fire erupted from the archive's weapons, platforms, but the human ships didn't even activate shields. The energy blasts simply slid off their adaptive hulls like water off glass. Your technology, Thaxel whispered in horror. Improved considerably, yes, Chen acknowledged. You see, exile taught us something valuable about ourselves. We don't just adapt, we evolve. Every challenge makes us stronger. Every setback teaches us something new. While you've spent 2 centuries rewriting history to make yourselves feel better, we've been out there making new history. The human flagship extended docking clamps toward the archive's central spire. Now, we're going to restore the truth. Every file, every record, every story you've corrupted will be returned to its original state. And then we're going to add a few new chapters. As human boarding parties began cutting through the archive's defenses with tools that made hegemony, security systems look like children's toys. Thaxel realized the magnitude of his species' error. They hadn't defeated humanity, they had merely motivated them. Admiral Chen's final words echoed through the command center as her people took control of the archive. You tried to erase us from history. But here's the thing about humans. We always keep backups. The great work of revision began anew, but this time, the truth would not be so easily buried. Humanity had returned, and they had brought receipts.